Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel here again. It's me, your boy, the Retro Slasher, and welcome back to another brand new DVD and Blu-ray update video. This time is for the month of April, the year 2017. So April has come and gone pretty fast. We're already like 9 days into May, I believe, so I'm a little late on this, but it is what it is, I suppose. So April itself, to be quite honest with you guys, I didn't buy a whole lot of stuff. This is going to be one of those real fast, small update videos. Nothing crazy or nothing like that. Extremely small. I only got like a handful of things to show off here. So with that being said, it was still pretty much an expensive month. A lot of pricey things in this update. But a lot of stuff that I've been wanting. A lot of quality stuff. A couple films that I had never seen before that I always want to check out. So I decided it was a good time to buy some of that stuff, since there was a whole lot of new stuff coming out. So I suppose let's get right into this. First up, the only DVD I have in this update. It's becoming more of a common trend in these update videos of mine, only short amount of DVDs. But there's only one thing I really wanted. I've been after this thing for quite some time. It ranges up and down in prices. I found a really good deal on this. It was only $2 and a few cents used. So finally got to get my hands on a copy of this and check it out. It's a film you hear talked about quite often. It's a film that I just recently heard about for the first time, maybe like last year or so. And that is The Day After. Like I said, this is like a made-for-TV movie in 1983. It's basically about what would happen if a nuclear war was to break out and the aftermath of it. This is kind of a really fucked up film when you think about it. Just the shit that's going on after the nuclear weapons and stuff that these people are trying to survive in these different locations and whatnot. And the most frightening thing about this movie is still really relevant, especially today. What's going on in the world with the political bullshit with Korea and everything. This is just a really scary movie, if you ask me. I always find disaster movies and whatnot to be the most frightening, because that stuff terrifies me the most, more than any other genre of films, I suppose, because a lot of this stuff can actually really happen. And it was a pretty good film. It's a little long, but it was like a made for TV. I think it might have been like 2 parts when it aired or something. I don't know, but it's a really solid film. Highly recommend you guys check it out. Definitely one you guys should. All right, next 2 things up here I got from Deep Discount. They were having pretty nice discount sales on some Kino releases. 2 ones that I've been after for a while. Well, one of them recently came out not too long ago, maybe the end of last year, I think. It's a film that I've always been a fan of. Of course, it's been remade and whatnot, but this is just the classic version of the film, and the one you should definitely check out. The remake's good too, but this is the way to go with this film right here, and it is The Taking of Pelham 123, the original film from 1974, starring, of course, Walter Matthau, however you say his last name. I always remember him from Grumpier Old Men. It was a movie I loved when I was a kid. It's a really great film, man. It's basically about these group of hijackers take over this train in New York City, and Walter's character is like he's a lead detective in transit police or whatever, and he's trying to negotiate with them and meet their demands or whatever. And it's just like this a lot of things going on and stuff, interaction between him and the hijackers. Really fantastic film. Great release too. The transfer's pretty good. I was thinking about Kino. They always usually do a pretty good job with the films and their transfers. Glad to finally have this in the collection. Next thing up here from Kino, this is some really cheesy 80s action film. It's really cheesy. It's one of these like post-Vietnam action films, and it's still justice. The thing that I never really heard about this film, I seen people pick it up and whatnot, but really wasn't interested in it at the time. But then I watched the trailer for it one time, and I saw who the actual guy that plays John Steele in this film is. The dude from the villain from the Karate Kid movies, Cobra Kai and shit. This was actually a really fun, cheesy film. It's really goofy and over the top. but it's fun. It's a great release too. Glad to have this in the collection. Love me some cheesy 80s action films. Alright, the next two things up here, we're finally get into some horror here. Next two things are from Cold Red. This one, it's a film I've always heard about and whatnot. I have a bootleg of it, but I never ended up watching it. I think with those bootlegs, man, you gotta be in the mood to watch some really poor transfers and VHS quality shit to get through some of those bootlegs of these type of films. But I'm glad it finally got a legit release. Cold Red's doing a lot of good things with their things now. They're more of a respectable company, in my opinion. And that is Deadly Dreams. Now, this film right here always seems to pop up on slasher lists. I can see why. Also because of the time it was made and whatever in the mid 80s. But it's really not too much of a slasher film. It's kind of like a Nightmare on Elm Street type vibe. A lot of nightmare sequences in this film. It's fun. It's not the best thing I've ever seen. Yeah, it's just a fun film. I wouldn't highly recommend it, and I wouldn't say don't buy it or whatever. I say give it a shot, man. It's worth it. What can you do? All right, next thing up here is it's a film that's been on my wish list and films I want to see for a long time, and that was a big mistake. I should have did a lot more research on this film. When I get into this in a second, I'll get into more detail with that in a second. But this is another one from Cold Red here, and it's an Italian film, and it's called Zetter. Yeah. So this is the alternative artwork you get. Cold Red's finally doing slipcovers and whatnot. But the story behind this film here is I haven't changed the cover art too. It does have reversible cover art, and I'm going to do that for you right now. When you take a look at the original artwork for this movie and whatnot, you would think it's a whole different film. And the American name goes by Revenge of the Dead. A little glare there. Now you would think this is like a kind of like a George A. Romero, Night of the Living, or Dawn of the Dead, or Day of the Dead type ripoff film. It's really nothing at all like your traditional zombie film. It's quite weird, and to be honest with you, this movie kind of sucked, and I'm a little disappointed in myself on how much I spent for this, and really wasn't satisfied with my purchase and whatnot. Yeah, sometimes that things happen still, but should definitely do more research on this before I decided to buy it. I never judge a film by its cover, I suppose. It was a big letdown, man. Still a cool release. I know a lot of people were fans of this film. I was not one of those people. Alright, next thing up here. I actually just got in the mail today, and I just finished watching it. It's a film that I've been meaning to pick up for a while. I know a lot of people speak highly of it, and I just literally finished watching it before I recorded this video here. You might even still hear the music in the background. I haven't took it out the Blu-ray player. But from Smash Films, we got the cult classic, I guess you would call it, The Exterminator. Now, this was a film I had never ever seen before. I know people always talked about it, raved about it as like a cool revenge, vigilante type movie. And man, this movie is a hell of a lot of fun, man. I had a blast with this. Yeah, super, super fun. It is cheesy in parts. The acting is somewhat not the best. Christopher George is actually in this movie. He's a pretty solid. He plays the lead detective in the film. The guy that plays the Exterminator, he's an odd fella, man. He's an odd fella. It's another one of these post-Vietnam type action-y revenge cult film. I don't know what you describe these things as. There's just a mixture of different genres, but fantastic film. There's a lot of funny scenes in here. In particular, one scene in the film that will make you never look at hamburgers the same again. Yeah, but it's a really, really fun film. It's worth it. So I picked up that one on Shout Factory. Just recently put out the sequel on Blu-ray. It had a release before in one of those 4-packs, I think one of the Roger Corman ones. I never did pick it up then because I never had seen the first one. So it's The Exterminator 2. This one looks to seem to have the same guy in it. Don't really know much about this one. This one, based on the cover, looks a little more post-apocalyptic. I don't know, but if it's as good as the first one, I'm sure I'm going to love it. I haven't checked it out. Still sale. Just got this in the other day, actually. A lot of this stuff just recently arrived, too. Executioner 2. Exterminator 2, not Executioner. I always confuse that. Next thing up here, just literally got in the mail again today. So I haven't had a chance to open it. It's a Screen Factory release that I've been putting off for a long time. I don't know why. There's no excuse. It's a film that everybody should own in their collection. It's a staple. If you're a big fan of John Carpenter, this is a must-own film. And it is Assault on Precinct 13. No, I was unlucky enough to not to get a slipcover or anything like that. But that's what happens when you wait like 4 or 5 years to pick up the release. Finally glad to own this on Blu-ray. It's been some time since I've seen the original one. The remake used to be on TV all the time. So I'm looking forward to revisiting this. I've always been a big fan of it, from what I can remember. It's been years since I checked it out, honestly. Next up here, another thing from Screen Factory. Now this release right here is a very, very popular release amongst the horror community and Blu-ray collectors and movie collectors, because it's a film that's been out of print on DVD for so long and whatnot. It's been asked millions and millions of times to get a new release on Blu-ray and whatnot. The Screen Factory finally delivered. This is the kind of films they should be releasing. Whether or not you're an actual fan of the film is one thing. I know most people are. And that is Tales from the Hood here on Blu-ray. I did get the slipcover, but I am not a fan of Screen Factory slipcovers. I don't even really like this new commission artwork. I forgot to change it over. Now, when it comes to this film, I watched it. It had been years since I've seen it, probably since the early 2000s, back when it used to be on like HBO or Showtime or one of those channels all the time. I revisited it. It's a good film. I just don't think it's as good as everybody thinks it is. Just because of that nostalgia being so out of print and everything, and it's kind of really hard to find and whatnot. I think that plays a lot into the hypeness of this film. There's a bunch of other films like that too. I think that plays a lot into it. It's a good film. It's fun. It's a solid anthology film. I just don't really think it's as good as everybody says it is, and I wouldn't put it in my top 10 anthology films of all time or whatever. But it's a good film. I'm glad to have it. Finally glad it got a release for people that are a fan of that film. Alright, and last thing up here for the update video is a thing right here that's been on my personal wish list for a long time, and among some others of people been asking for this, and it's finally been delivered to us. Now, I know everybody and their grandmother is showing this thing off, so I'm not going to get into too much detail or whatever with it, but it's a must-have box set for any horror fan out there or movie collector or whatnot. Now, story behind these, I had only ever seen the first one in the franchise, and that was many, many years ago when I was a kid, and I have never seen them since, and I was glad now I could finally revisit the first one and all the sequels. And then, of course, is the Phantasm box set here from Logo USA. Yes, this is a beautiful box set. These are the kind of box sets I like the most. None of those fancy spare ones or whatever Arrow did. I'm not into all that nonsense. This is just a standard basic box set. Glad to have in the collection. Looks really nice. The transfers on the Blu-rays are pretty decent, especially the first two. The thing with the second one, though, I know Screen Factory released this back when they first started or whatever, and the thing about it is I actually had an audio problem with that. At all the Screen Factory's people complaining about having issues with and whatnot, I never had a problem with any of my other Blu-rays, even in the Halloween box set or nothing. None of that ever happened to me. But I did get in a skip. It's just one real scene. I noticed it. I don't even remember what happens, but it skips a scene, audio scene or something's off, the tracking's off or whatever. I don't know how to explain. I'm not a sound engineer or anything like that, but it's off and it's quite noticeable. But that's just a minor little complaint. But great release. Finally glad to own these, and now I can stop asking for Horror Jesus to reward us. And yeah, that does it with the update video. A lot of good stuff in here, a lot of quality stuff. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys hopefully next month with another update. Don't know what I'll be buying. I don't even know what's coming out. I've been kind of out of loop in the last couple of weeks of releases and stuff. But thanks for watching again. It's your boy, the Retro Slasher. I'll see you guys later.